All right, this is how to do cervical facet gapping. So if I want to still work on C5 and C6, then I'm going to count my way down to both C5 and C6. I'm working on the right side of my patient. I'm going to block C5, the upper segment, on the contralateral side. Again, buddied up fingers, blocking that contralateral side. And then I'll buddy up my fingers and work on the ipsilateral side on the lower segment. So on C6, I'm going to pull that up at a 45-degree angle perpendicular to the facet joint. So facet joints are headed in this direction, and I'm going opposite of that, which will create a gap at that segment. You guys should see that opening up a bit. This can work really well to improve symptoms as long as they can tolerate it, because if you do this too early on, you'll flare them up. But almost more importantly, I do this for radiculopathy. So you guys can see that neuroforamina opens up from me doing this. Be aware that you're technically compressing the neuroforamina on the contralateral side. So make sure you don't do this bilaterally if somebody has a cervical radiculopathy, otherwise you could flare them up. Now, if this is too intense for your patient, you could do the same thing that we did with the cervical facet glides and block their face as you're doing this to prevent all this rotation higher than the segment. Gapping. So we're working on my patient's right-hand side. Usually you'll have them just put their arm kind of on their belly because you're going to be right up next to them. I'll be in a staggered stance front so I can get really close to the patient. I'm going to have my right hand, again, buddied up fingers. It's going to be blocking C5 on his left-hand side. Again, we are working on the opposite side. So I'm blocking C5 on his left side to work on C5, C6 on his right side. My right hand is on my patient's left side. My left hand is on his right side, the side that we're working on C6. And I'm pulling up at a 45-degree angle. This is perpendicular to the joint. So last time, right hand is on C5 on the contralateral side. My left hand is on C6 on the ipsilateral side, and I'm working on C5, C6. And this will gap the C5, C6 joint on the right side. You guys can see this line of pull is exactly where my forearm is headed. Again, this is the most intense way to do it for your patient because I'm blocking the segment above. If I wanted to be a little bit more general, I just wouldn't block that segment. I'd kind of just block their face. So I'd prevent their whole head from rotating. Feels okay, Aaron?
Feels really good.
If you guys have any questions on that, let me know.